The absolute destruction of a manipulator never happens in a shouting match. It happens in the cold, unblinking silence that follows their rage, when you refuse to give them the one thing they came for. Understand this now, because it will save you years of exhausted, wasted energy. Manipulators do not fear your anger. They are architects of anger. They have spent years, sometimes decades, perfecting the art of turning a calm room into a war zone. And they have done it so often that your rage is not a threat to them. It is fuel. It is oxygen. It is the exact reaction they built their entire strategy around extracting from you. When you scream back, when you match their volume, when you let your face contort into the same fury they are displaying, you have not won anything. You have simply stepped onto a stage they built, read from a script they wrote, and played a character they designed specifically to lose. This is the part that most people never grasp until it is far too late. A manipulator's rage is rarely genuine in the way yours is. Yours comes from a place of real hurt, real betrayal, real exhaustion. Theirs is often a calculated tool, a performance engineered to destabilize you, to make you feel small, erratic, guilty, or desperate enough to comply. And here is the cruel irony. The angrier you become in response, the more evidence they gather to paint you as the unstable one, the unreasonable one, the problem. You walked into their trap believing you were defending yourself, and you walked out having handed them the exact narrative they needed. Now, picture the alternative. Picture the manipulator mid-explosion, voice rising, insults sharpening, accusations flying like shrapnel, designed to make you flinch, to make you react, to make you reveal the raw nerve they can then press again and again. And instead of flinching, you go cold. Not cruel, not dramatic, just cold. Your face does not move, your voice does not rise, your eyes do not widen with the panic they are hunting for. You simply become still, like a lake in the dead of winter, frozen so completely that nothing beneath the surface can be seen or touched. This is not weakness. This is the most devastating weapon a psychologically aware person can wield, because a manipulator's entire operating system depends on predictable feedback. They throw the insult, they expect the flinch. They throw the accusation, they expect the defensive scramble. They throw the guilt, they expect the apology. When none of that arrives, when their carefully rehearsed provocation lands on a surface as unshaken as stone, something inside their strategy begins to collapse. They do not know what to do with a person who refuses to supply the reaction they require. It is like watching a chess player who has planned 15 moves ahead suddenly realize the opponent has walked off the board entirely. This is why coldness terrifies a manipulator in a way that rage never could. Rage tells them they are still in control of you. Coldness tells them they never were. Think about every manipulator you have ever encountered, whether in a relationship, a family, a workplace, a friendship built on quiet exploitation. Their power was never really about being right. It was about being able to provoke a specific emotional state in you on command, like a hand on a light switch. Fear, guilt, insecurity, fury. As long as they could flip that switch whenever they wanted, they held real power over your internal world, regardless of what was actually true or fair. The moment you stop being a light switch, the moment your emotional state is no longer something they can manipulate with a well-timed insult or a manufactured crisis, their entire source of power evaporates. This is the essence of dark Stoic discipline. Not the performance of peace, but the actual architecture of it, built so solidly that provocation simply has nowhere to land. The ancient Stoics understood something that modern psychology has only recently caught up to. The people who wound you the deepest are rarely defeated by louder wounds thrown back at them. They are defeated by the absence of a wound at all. When you offer no wound, no crack, no flinch, you become something they cannot compute, something outside the predictable patterns they have used successfully on every other person foolish enough to react. But let us be honest about how difficult this actually is, because pretending it is simple would be a lie unworthy of this channel. Staying cold while someone screams in your face degrades you, twists your words, and manufactures a reality where you are somehow the villain, is one of the hardest disciplines a human being can practice. Every cell in your body will want to defend itself. Every instinct will scream at you to correct the record, to explain yourself, to prove your innocence. This is exactly the impulse you must starve. Because manipulators do not operate on facts, they operate on emotional leverage. You cannot out-argue someone who was never actually interested in the truth. You cannot logic your way out of a trap built entirely from emotional manipulation, no matter how airtight your reasoning is. The only language that actually disarms them is the language of composed, immovable silence. Not silence born from fear, silence born from the quiet internal understanding that their chaos is not your responsibility to manage, absorb, or match. This coldness must be practiced like a discipline, not summoned like a mood. It begins long before the confrontation ever happens. It begins in the quiet moments where you decide ahead of time exactly what you will and will not allow to move you. It begins in the daily practice of observing your own emotional triggers so closely that you know precisely which words a manipulator might use to detonate you, and you defuse them internally before they are ever spoken aloud. This is not about suppressing your humanity. It is about refusing to let another person's chaos dictate the terms of your inner world. And here is the devastating truth hidden inside all of this. When you finally master this discipline, something extraordinary happens. The manipulator who once thrived on your predictable reactions begins to appear smaller. Their rage, once so intimidating, starts to look almost childish against the backdrop of your composed silence. Their insults lose their sting because you no longer supply the emotional agreement required for an insult to actually wound. You watch them thrash against a wall of glass, and for the first time, you realize the wall was always yours to build. You simply never knew you had the materials. This is the quiet war that most people never learn to fight correctly. Not fire against fire, but ice against fire, until the fire, deprived of the fuel it always expected, begins to burn itself out. Mirror their coldness, never their rage, and you will discover the one truth manipulators fear most. A person who refuses to react is a person who cannot be controlled.